Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Court of Swords. It's Saturday. It's not Tuesday. We're doing a very special Saturday show because Max is in heaven. He's joining us from the Kingdom of Heaven.
It's fitting.
No, Max is in Galveston, which in Texas might be said that you're in heaven. How are you enjoying Galveston, Max? Are you having a good time?
I like it. Can you hear me? No.
Yeah. Oh
No,
yeah.
can you
No,
hear
we
me?
can. Yeah, you
can.
sound
That's
okay.
so weird. That's so fucking weird. I'm looking at like the sound stuff, and I don't really see much levels or anything like that. But apparently, I'm coming through okay-ish.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
Hell,
Sounds fine.
okay. All right. Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Galveston's really cool. Like I said, I was supposed to come down here with my parents for like a weekend thing, like an extended weekend thing, starting from Tuesday. Like we were gonna go Tuesday and then extended into the weekend a little bit, and then come back. Actually, it wasn't even the weekend; it was before that. And then all of the flooding happened from the Imelda stuff, so we weren't able to come back because of that. So we had to extend our stay because there's no way they were able to drive back. And on the way down here, my AC compressor on my car just fell apart. So that's in the shop right now with a mechanic from Galveston working on it. Apparently, he's going to have it done Monday evening.
Nice.
And
now let's talk about this mechanic. Is this guy like a tried and true Texan? Is he like,
He seemed pretty legit.
Was he wearing overalls?
He had the appropriate level of grime about his office, and he seemed, real nice guy.
Would you call him a quote good old boy?
Good old boy. I'd say he's a good old boy. Yeah.
That might mean something else in today's climate, but where I come from, that just means he's a tried and true Texan, which also might mean something else in today's climate. You got to be careful there. So
he seemed like a nice guy, honestly. It was one of those things that was just like, I don't know. In my experience with mechanics,
well, the mechanic took him out. He shouldn't.
The good old boy got him.
The good old boy took him out. Jesus. How did we go? We literally tested this for 30 minutes prior to the show.
We got so close.
Max was the earliest he's ever been to a Court of Swords.
I know. I saw that.
He was here like almost an hour
because
ago.
I know. I saw in the Slack, Max was like, "Yeah, I'm jumping in on the call," and I'm like, "I gotta eat this pizza really fast." And I was like, "Oh, nope, they're just getting set up for Max." It's totally fine.
That's great. Man, that's just funny. You can't even see the sadness in that. You just have to laugh.
God bless.
Well, we'll see if he comes back. If not, this might only be a pre-show, which would be interesting.
Can we talk about Dan's shirt? Dan, you're looking luminous today. Look at you.
Look at that orange.
Beautiful.
Shirt.
My shirt's very loud.
Yeah.
I know. I like it. I actually like. I would. This is one of these things, and it sounds like a backhanded compliment because I wouldn't wear a shirt that color, but I also don't wear colors of any kind.
Yeah,
but I can appreciate.
I can appreciate
a bold fashion move.
I've had the pleasure of being at Adam's house and seeing his rack of T-shirts, and at first glance, they all look exactly the same because they're all black, and maybe there's like one or two like white to gray ones in there, but they look out of place because every shirt is completely just black and they're all very neat on a rack or on the hangers and stuff. But it's just like black T-shirts, and that's it.
It's true. Yeah. My eyes are calibrated to tell the difference between black and even darker black, but at a glance, it's all the same. So Dan, I just wanted to say I like your orange shirt. I think it looks great.
Thank you.
I just want to know, Dan, did all of the school children make it across the street okay?
Wow. You have one side praising Dan and Zeke just going in.
When Zeke started talking,
I don't know, Lemmy. I thought you died a couple years ago, Zeke. Yeah. Like, if we're just gonna
I will say, so Zeke, we've known each other a while now, and I have to say this is probably my favorite facial hair configuration because in that same way, I love it when I look at my friends and I immediately just start thinking about the lyrics to Ace of Spades.
Right.
Like that's what I want. I want that feeling.
Yeah. You got to go get a big costume mole and just wear it to see what people say. That's all.
I'm planning. I'm just gonna lacquer a Cocoa Puff, cut it in half, and just glue it to my face. Just spirit gum it right to my face.
Yeah.
It's the only card I need, man. The only card I need.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure the first time that I ever saw you stream, I think JP was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do a thing with Zeke and you know you're gonna be on this episode with him." I went and watched your channel, and I think you either had the same or a similar configure, and I was like,
He's had
"Holy
this
shit, this
before,
guy looks just like Lemmy." This channel, and I was watching you stream, I was like, "This channel is if it were Wayne's World, but it was one guy, and that one guy was Lemmy," and I was just so like excited. I was like, "Yes, like I want to meet this guy. I'm excited."
Pretty profound compliment right there. Jeez.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's. You should take that well, Z.
Yep.
Adam's dishing out the compliments today.
I know.
It's good.
No,
Except for Max.
it's because
What's
Max
that
isn't
like?
here,
know.
and I don't have
no,
like.
no idea. What
Hey,
that's
there
like
we go.
at all.
Adam didn't have a way to center
up,
his
Max.
hatred on anyone, so he was the opposite.
You
for a
don't
little
talk to
while.
someone from heaven like that.
Did the
Well-
did the old mechanic come and get you, Max? Is that what happened? The good old boy.
Yeah, he came in and he literally just threw a wrench at the modem and it was fine.
Oh yeah, I heard you talking about him all the way from the shop and just
Like-
threw it up in the air.
I got you, buddy.
It is an age-old question. How do you talk to an angel?
That's true. I don't know. A series of tubes apparently will reach them.
Just getting back to the, like your comment about my facial hair, like this is the only facial hair style that I've had 100% positive reaction to.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
it's 'cause it's great.
everybody fucking loves this for some reason. Like no one has anything bad to say. Like my big old beard, like there was like mostly good, but every once in a while people would say shitty things. But like this is just like they got nothing but like good things
works.
to say about it, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, yeah. I think it plays with the males because they just immediately think of Lemmy. You know, that's where it goes. Just Motorhead straight out of the gate. So, wait, Lemmy is from Motorhead, right? I just didn't fuck that up. I just
Yes.
didn't
No.
have,
You,
okay.
yeah. You got it.
Oh God, I thought I was gonna get like disowned by the metal people. I don't know.
If there's any like karaoke stuff at any of the Twitch parties, at TwitchCon or whatever, you know what you got to do already. Like, it
also
doesn't even
like-
matter if you do a good job or not. It's gonna be good.
I also like the juxtaposition of like when I'm wearing like a giant like bear outfit or panda suit or something like that, and then I take off the helmet or the head, and they see this guy and they're like, "That's not what I expected to be under that under that panda head."
Yeah, that's true.
Are you working on your Chun-Li costume for TwitchCon? 'Cause I got $1,000 burning a hole in my pocket, Zeke.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
I
Look,
want to so bad, but they would never invite me to do anything again. Like that, it would have to be my last hurrah. Like I have to be
Yeah.
resigned to the fact that Twitch would never ask me to do anything ever again, and it might be worth it. It might just be worth it.
well, there was a split second where I almost tweeted like, "Oh yeah, I'll double that," because I know it's a thing that you will never do, no matter how much, unless that gets into like the stupid money range. Then you'd probably do it and never set foot in a Twitch event ever again. But
Yeah,
It's
my
a
number-
retirement fund.
My number is 10 million.
sure,
10 million,
okay,
and I'll
yeah,
do whatever
we won't hit
whatever
that.
you ask.
Let's start the Kickstarter today, guys. Let's get Zeke kicked out of Twitch forever for all activities by wearing a Chun-Li outfit into the interview with him at Cheers.
It's just
That'd be good.
it's such a good low grade like what are you gonna do? You're gonna ask me about it? I'd love it if you asked me about it. Yeah, it's a great trap. I like it. It's a good one. I'm just gonna imagine you in a Chun-Li costume, which is like business as usual for me. So
Sure. Yeah, that's.
I'll still get what I need.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know where to take this. Maybe we should just roll the recap and get on with it. Just get this fucking train a moving. Max, has it seemed to be? We were laughing about how we tested this and it was like the earliest you've ever been here and stuff. It seems to be fine now. Just a random blip.
Everything was fine in the test. You know what I did to fix it? I literally just like hit the little Wi-Fi thing. Fix the problem, Windows.
Oh
All
yeah.
right, we're gonna fix
Wow.
the Wi-Fi adapter, and then it fixed the problem. I was like,
Wow.
okay, Windows.
You might wanna
Stunning.
report that.
Normally that doesn't do
Yeah.
anything.
You should
No,
report
it
that to
didn't.
Windows for
I
the
was
fact
like,
that it
this
worked.
isn't gonna do shit. And then I was like, oh.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah. I don't. Am I coming through an acceptable level of some sort here? Is it okay enough?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. You
otherwise-
sound fine. Yeah.
I hate being at a remote location where I don't have like my normal. I mean, because anybody that knows me knows I'm fucking picky about my audio. So when I know I probably sound like shit, it's probably fine to everybody else. I'm like, no, it's garbage. It's stupid. Cancel the show.
Yeah. The more impressive thing, if you really want to blow people's minds, is that you're using your Bose headsets mic,
This is what you're hearing me from.
which doesn't
Somehow.
make much sense. I have those same headphones upstairs somewhere. I didn't even know they had a
From what I
microphone on them.
understand, okay, so here's the thing. I think, based on what I'm seeing, that I think it's coming through that.
Okay.
Because we tried the other, or it's the laptop mic, and I've just been wrong this entire time.
That'd be
But I
more
know some of
likely.
these headsets have built-in microphones for people that do conference calls, or are business people or whatever, and have the same kind of like. I don't know. It works, I guess.
Sounds okay.
We tried a lapel mic, and apparently that would sound like dog shit compared to this. So whatever.
Yeah, lapel mic was just picking too many things up. Is
It's
what
a
I would
cheap
say.
piece of crap one. It was just something I had.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll turn you
Yeah.
up a little bit. We'll do some balancing as the show goes on.
Galveston's cool though. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to say. Pretty fucking cool.
I have fond memories of living there for 2 years. It's a slower city for sure, and you
Yeah.
have to go
The
to
canal
Houston
area
if you
where I'm
want
at.
anything. That's how it goes.
The canals here are really cool, especially for like fishing and like kayaking and all that kind of stuff. It's super chill.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. It's good stuff. You also got in there in the middle of hurricane season, and there's no
I love storms.
crazy
Like
storms.
short of being stuck here, I really enjoy storms. So like we haven't had any rain or big thunderstorms in Austin in a while. So being able to see that for like just 2 days straight was actually really cool. It was bugging my dad, but I was like, this is fucking great. I haven't seen a lightning storm like this in a long time. So I was about it.
Yeah,
Make the best out of what you have, because you can't fucking change the weather. You can't change being stuck there. So
it's probably, I forget the actual, maybe 10 years ago, they had like the 100-year flood there in Galveston, and everything was underwater. Like things were just destroyed. The only things
This
that were,
house-
it was probably destroyed or
Yeah.
rebuilt or something.
this house has I think it's Hurricane Ike or whatever.
Yeah.
The water level, like there's a floor just below me, and that entire the water, they have like a little plaque that shows the water line, and it's like about 3 inches shy of the ceiling,
Yep. Oh yeah.
all full of water. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was rough. It's rough. Hurricanes are no joke, especially live on a coastal city. So,
Yeah.
with that, let's recap the last show. Let's see what happened on the last episode. This will be good for Dan, because for the better part of 40 minutes to an hour, he was just like real teeny and squished and was cut in half a couple times at the end of last episode.
Oh, that's right. I
so-
forgot that we had like a weird spaghettification event.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got
good.
that.
Good.
was-
Welcome
I
back,
can
Dan.
do
I'm
that.
glad that you're in one piece.
Why is there a door right there?
It's okay, guys. I'll see you later. All right.
I'm so confused.
Wow.
What?
Whack.
What?
Oh, hello there. I didn't
Is
realize
the
you were
office
there.
in a closet? What the fuck?
Listen,
Wow.
there's like a little like it's like the stuff that a hamper's made out of, that kind of like wicker or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's a dresser, and it's inside the closet, and the closet has these like flimsy little, so I can. Every
Weird.
time we go to break, I'm gonna be like, all right, I'll see you guys.
Who needs
weird,
a
man.
lens cap when you've got entire double door?
Yeah, what the hell?
Wait. Close them again. Close them again real quick. And then, oh wait, no. I'm sorry. Open them, and then do the Looney Tunes outro song. Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Well done. 10 out
Fucking
of 10.
St. Peter over here.
I'm back.
Yeah. All right, let's see
Welcome
what
back to
happens.
heaven. Heaven's open.
Yeah, the doors to heaven are open.
What
Let's see
do
what
you
happens.
want? Well, that's a horse of a different color.
Jeez. I'm just hitting this
Prop
button.
comedy show now.
You guys will stop
Well,
talking.
swords. Ramus, harnessing the magic of faith, begins by casting a ritual spell to conjure up a temple in which the party might find some safety to rest. The temple is one to Ramus's new religion, a fledgling faith dedicated to balance, and partly to Ramus himself. The dogma is still working itself out. They enter to rest, and a dust storm begins to brew on the horizon. The storm, over the course of the night, covers the temple in ash, burying all but the bell tower beneath it. It rages on. The party decides they're being punished for evading the sacrificial fire they saw when they entered, and Maharib tries to take his old sword from Amira, who resists. Climbing the stairs to the narrow window above, Maharib casts a mysterious note into the wind, and Broken Promises gives up her name to this place. The uncaring storm doesn't seem to appreciate their sacrifices. The group concocts a new plan, tying a rope between them and heading out into the storm to seek out a way out of this part of the vein. They become lost, and it's clear there are malicious spirits here who seem to hate Berg and Ramus particularly. They find the old road, and it leads them out of the storm and into a deep valley carved with dwellings, suddenly abandoned. Berg recognizes this place, the slums of the city of Brass, where once he held the title of Ilnaval. The past, it seems, isn't so easily buried.
Dun dun. Okay, Max.
Sorry, I probably didn't catch it in time. I really just wanted to. Damn it! I was just too late.
I
was just too late. I was gonna open up the doors again.
Yeah.
I wish we all had one so we could do the opening of like Beauty and the Beast, like bonjour, 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 bonjour.
Jesus.
Oh,
of all the
boy.
things, I would never expect a Beauty and the Beast reference out of Zeke.
It's good. It was nice.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so at some point, what you gotta do, Max, is close them and then burst them open and shout at someone, "You there, boy? What day is it today?"
Just have fun with it.
And then somebody else can tell you it's Christmas.
Why it's Christmas, Mr. Scrooge?
It's Christmas Day, sir.
It's Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right. It's almost Christmas,
It's Christmas.
so don't forget.
Yeah, we're 3 months away from Christmas. It's true.
We
Almost-
should do
almost
some
two.
kind. We should do some kind of like Court of Swords, like event or something around Christmas, and
With
do like a
Krillmas?
Christmas
Yeah.
thing. I think that'd be really funny.
Would it be Dan role playing as Ramus, who's role playing as Santa, and like the three of us are
Yeah,
the
or
elves
like-
trying to figure out how to get Krillsmas cheer to all the boys and girls of
Or like
the courts?
I could take the plot of A Christmas Carol and I could redesign it so it's set in the world of Court of Swords and it's an adventure and we could have all the characters go on a Krillsmas adventure.
Oh my
That could
god.
be a thing we could do.
Absolutely do a Krillsmas. That would be
Totally. However, I would argue that cheer is not something that would be associated with Christmas.
No, it sure is.
Great. No.
It would more be like the Futurama Christmas where you lock your doors because Ramus Krill will steal, like, come to your house and steal something from you.
Sure.
The toe missiles. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been
Into
very
it, yeah.
lucky.
The Krillsmas Carol. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Into it. I'm gonna make a note. We'll talk about it.
All right.
So we have all the goals set up from last time. Just to remind everyone, while you are in the vein, there are rules, phenomena, ludographical phenomena, perception and investigation checks. Make them with advantage. Everybody's passive perception is 5 higher than usual here. Resisting disease and poison, you do that at disadvantage. Taking the ready action gives you advantage on the roll that you make when you take that action. Spells and abilities that grant extra actions or bonuses to initiative don't function here. Illusion spells are resisted at disadvantage, and any deception check is made at advantage. So that's more for the audience. The players in the game all have access to that handout.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we begin, we fade in on. I guess we don't need the buried temple diagram anymore. We fade in on the group of you walking down into this eerily familiar for some of you valley. Now Berg and Ramus, you have both seen and been in this place before, or at least like a reflection of it. Whether this is the actual place transmitted into this strange realm, or whether it's a reflection or a shadow or an illusion or what, hard to say. But for you, Berg, the last time you were here, they called you Ilnaval, and you were supposed to be the chosen one, Anakin. And Ramus, the last time that you were here was just before the ending of the city of Brass, and there was a cult of orcs that lived in the city who were gathering around Berg as a kind of savior figure. We all know how all that went. So yeah, this place, the architecture, the stone, the pathways, it all feels familiar to you in a way that being somewhere it's familiar like a dream. It's not the sense that like, if you turn left here and turn right there's going to be a Chick-fil-A on the corner. It's more like you'll catch the architecture of a window, or you'll see a light flickering through a doorway, and it will remind you of walking those streets. It's a deeper, almost more like deja vu than it is like familiarity.
Not a one-to-one
It's
kind
a
of
it's a
thing, is what you're
feeling.
saying.
Yeah, exactly. You're walking through a reminiscence of this place, and while everything about it looks like a scene of like relative calm, given the terrible storm you just came from, and the swirling ash and the sort of terror of that place. This is much calmer. The sky above still clouded. You can see that kind of that sort of gentle light coming from above. You're walking down into a valley. The valley walls are carved into the shapes of the facades of buildings, and there is light coming from the windows, but there is no one. There's no one here. You are walking what seems to be abandoned streets, despite the fact that it's clear that people could live here. That there is evidence that maybe they did at one point. So where are you going? Like the natural gravity of the place will guide you down this main road, but if you want to stop and investigate anything along the way, you're welcome to do so. And also, Ramus and Berg, do you stop to acknowledge the familiarity of the place and explain to your companions?
That's what I was about to ask.
Or do you keep that
Well,
or do you keep it to yourself?
I think where we left off was Berg was looking in the window and he saw, like the lamp or whatever, illuminated inside one of these like kind of buildings, these huts or whatever they are that were from that village. And I mentioned that I was in the process of mentioning that. So we can fade in. Berg just looking in there and turns and looks at Ramus and goes,
Ramus, do you remember this? Is this? We've been here, not here, but very similar.
Yeah, it's reminds me of that trashy, dirty place all those orcs lived.
you get a stern look from Berg.
I mean, they weren't exactly a clean people. You got to admit that.
Wow, Rick.
What do you mean by clean?
Like bathing wasn't necessarily all that common amongst them.
Well, yeah. We don't do that as much.
And why
But
would
yeah,
you?
this is
You smell perfectly fine to me, Berg. So
But
the
yeah,
lodge,
this reminds me of
unfortunately,
that place.
you've
I was
been
saying,
here
unfortunately,
before?
broken promises. All you can really smell is the inside of your mask. So like leather and grease
Why
and
I
someone
smell
else's
perfectly
sweat.
fine. Why
Yeah,
Berg
right.
smells
Berg smells
perfectly
fine.
Yeah. And I think that might be part of the joke. Like, wait, how can you
Yeah.
smell anything?
You
smell a gas mask on.
to me, bro.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I should get the GIMP mask we were talking about, Adam. Get me in a character.
Mhm.
Sorry. But to the larger point, you've been to a place like this before, or it looks familiar?
Not like this. Exactly. Similar buildings. Lamps. I don't know. Ramus, what is this?
I don't. This place looks like it's trying to recreate some place, but it's getting a lot of details wrong, or it's reading our minds or something. I don't know. Broken,
Yeah,
you're familiar with illusions, Broken Promise. Do you have any experience with realms of like this, built of nothing but illusion?
Um, can I make a history check or a religion or
It'd be
something?
Arcana.
Arcana check. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me make an Arcana check here.
The rolls might
16?
not show.
Dice on
Hey,
the
they showed
table.
great. Never mind.
No, we
Good
got
job. We did it. Yay.
So yeah, there's pretty much two kind of ways to get at what Ramus is asking about, right? You either you can either construct a fully artificial universe out of illusion or whatever, and put a person into it, or you can turn a person's vision and senses inward and trap them in their own mind, right? So
Right.
to them, which is to say you, from this perspective, it's impossible to say which is true. Are you in a simulation actually physically walking around in an environment, or did you all just go catatonic at the front door and this is like traveling through your own psyche or whatever?
Right.
It feels pretty fucking real to you, but there's that whole Cartesian thing of like your senses are what create reality. So you don't really know.
Right.
Right. But there are things that might hint at the true nature of the place, right? Like if you go looking for repetition, right? If you see the same things being repeated, if you maybe if you there's nobody around, but if you're in a crowd or you're walking through a group of people, if you see the same faces in the crowd despite there being lots of people, that might indicate to you that you're trapped in some kind of illusion.
A deja vu means
but-
there's a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, true or not, like it's real enough that like if you die in the vein, you die in real life.
Right.
Now, Ramus and Berg have direct physical evidence that with enough magic power, you can make your own realm with its own reality and laws.
Right.
But for Broken Promises particularly, up until recently, you only knew of the one existence, and where these nerds are from, that was like a myth up until whatever a few days ago, where it was like, nope, it's real. They're from here.
So as far as like the Mara
if you have
go,
questions,
like
yeah.
as far as the Mara go, like would I have heard of them like traversing the vein and going to the other side and stuff, or is that just like ghost stories
Yes.
and
Yeah.
hearsay?
So
Okay.
the prevailing narrative is that the world is like a baleful, like dolorous place that sucks and no one should go there, but that there are things to be gleaned there, and that only the Mara or like their chosen servants can survive the passage. That it is for them a ripe field to harvest. But for the average person, if you were to go there, you would die instantaneously because you're not a Mara.
Right, but does that mean like I know that there is another place, or is it still just like myth to me?
It's like quasi mythological. There are a lot of
Okay.
stories about what the world is like.
Okay.
But everyone generally agrees that it is a place. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with all that, I think I like Broken Promises would surmise after Ramus asked a question. Well, there are two ways you can look at it. You can look at it as if what you're seeing around you is created, an illusion. Everything here is not real. Or it's a dream, meaning the illusion is in our eyes and not what we're seeing. Does that make sense, Ramus?
Yes, like trapped in your own dream.
Yes.
It happens in our realm. It happens to people sometimes.
Yes.
It's real to them.
Exactly. I mean, it feels real to me, but the best illusions do.
Well, to answer your question, Berg, I don't know what this place really is, but I know it's not what it's trying to make us believe it is. Because that place is gone.
Ramus, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Linus is right. I don't think this is the same.
Do you think this is a bridge? The vein is a road between worlds.
It's-
I don't know.
I don't
The only
think
thing I the only thing I know about it, or have heard about it, is that the Mara can travel this road. If this what it is. They're the only people or the only beings that I've ever heard of that can travel the road, survive it, and come back. And even then, the Mara are mysterious and they're powerful, and I'm not sure how much is embellishment, how much you can believe. But if the stories are true, they travel this road or one similar to it to get to where you are from and to come back.
that makes sense. This place doesn't exist in our realm. We don't have any knowledge or history about the place between worlds. There isn't supposed to be another world. Mara, we don't know where the Mara come from.
Do you think since this place is familiar to you, do you think that perhaps you and Ramus or you and Berg brought it into being just by your memories, your wants? Perhaps Berg wanted to be in a place like this and it appeared. Do you think maybe something like that might have happened?
Well, I know that I can't control it directly because I tried, but it definitely seems to be reading us or using our memories to create things. I still don't know what its purpose is. Like, why
Maybe we
create
find
this
an
stuff? What's the point?
maybe we find an inhabitant of the place and perhaps we could ask them if they're not out to kill us immediately.
If there are any.
Berg like looks around. Does he
Yeah,
see
right. And it's like just
anyone?
eerie quiet. Like
Yeah,
just
it's
there's
just
like
when he
no
says
one.
that after Broken Promises mentions that, he just like he takes a moment to look around, and if he doesn't see anyone, it's just like an unsettling quiet, I guess. Because I think that's how you described it before. It was like there was all the
Yeah.
sign that people had been living here, or that people were like light coming from windows and things like that, lanterns on, pots on fires and whatnot, but no actual people. So if that's the case, then I feel like that would probably hanging on the edge of that word that Broken Promise says, it would become more obvious and apparent to Berg.
Remus, I know some of the magicians and wizards from the place I'm from can reach out and sense things around them. Do you have any sort of magic like that, spells like that?
They're a different sort of study than what I do. My power comes from the ones you hate, the fountain, the opposite of the void. There's incantations we cast, but I don't really have anything to scan the environment or sense it. A wizard might have that kind of ability, but I don't.
And I understand the point you were getting at, but I'd prefer if you didn't lump me in to the people that hate where you're from or hate your people, because I do not. That's why I'm here, because I want to be among you.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, each side has its dogma about what is to be feared and hated, and I'm not saying that you're one of them.
Quite. Well, shall we? Seems like the road is laid out before us. Maharib, do you have any opinions on this? Amira?
Amira says in giant, so only Maharib understands, but she's doing it not to like not answer you, but I think because she seems so clearly distracted. Right? We look over at her and she's got this like she's got all her weird armor on with her fucking glass lenses and she's all suited up like a vein hunter. And she just mutters in giant, something about this place isn't right. And when she says that, she's looking at Ramus and Berg. And I think Maharib, she's sticking quite close to you, and she just says that quietly.
Okay. When Broken Promises asks if I have any thoughts, no. We should continue towards the light. Ramus already tried to, whatever it is, remove the magic, and it did not work, so either this is something much stronger or something else altogether. But that thing's been the only constant, and I'm motioning towards the beam of light. It's still in the sky, right?
No, from here you can't see it, because if you turn back to look where it is, there's just storm. There's the storm front, the haboob, if you will.
Sure. Well, then I motion in the direction of where it once was. We should head that way if it clears up. Whatever this is playing with Berg and Ramus, and soon, most likely us as well. Broken Promises.
Well, for all we know, the light could be a trick on us as well.
Sure.
That's a good point.
Well, I'd not considered that, but if that's the case, then where do we go?
Well, let's follow this road and see what this place is trying to tell us. Or if it's... I have no idea what this place's purpose is.
Fair enough. And I'll start to like walk down the road and in giant say, "Be on your guard, Amira," and kind of clutch my axe when I say that. Start moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you press on, and you continue down through this sort of eerie. Like it's not funereal exactly. It's just devoid, I think, of like life. And as you get deeper in, the more constructed, like it's clear that this place is less put together farther away. And as you get deeper and deeper into the valley, there's more construction. And I think you see, you start to see decoration. Nothing so flimsy as cloth or paper, but you see stone. We start to see long worn statues. And I think that at some point, as you walk down, there is a base of a statue kind of interrupting the walkway. You can walk easily around it, but there's a base of a statue. It's maybe like 10 feet across at the base, and 8 feet tall, maybe a little higher on top of the base, so 10 total. And it looks like an orc, like mother, and she's holding she's got it's not a papoose, but it's like a sash that widens, like a hammock, but it's wrapped around her, and there's a baby in it. You can't really see the baby because she's got one arm around it, and she's holding an axe in the other hand. And you see the statue, and all around the base of the statue is discoloration, and the stone there is worn smooth, probably like from her knees to the base of the ground, where people have in passing like just reached out and touched the statue.
If I'm the first one there, one of the first to see it, I pointed out to Ramus and Bert. Do you recognize this statue? It seems important, or at least in the path for us to see.
Yeah, no, we talked about this before, Berg, about your like connection to like your culture basically, because you were raised as a kid amongst orcs, but then you were taken away as a kid, right?
Mhm.
Like taken away from your people. Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, it would be like long buried like childhood memories. Okay, make a history check, and Ramus, you can make a religion check.
Did you say the statue was carrying a baby?
Yeah. She's got a like a wicked looking axe in one hand, and then under her other arm, she's holding this. She's like supporting this baby, and you can't see the baby. It's like they didn't carve it really. It just is clearly like a baby in this bundle.
Oh, okay. I was gonna see if it was like half dragonborn or something.
I'll give myself guidance as well for this.
Yeah. Okay. So a short prayer first. Ah, damn.
28.
Okay.
Damn.
All right. And then Max, you want to roll for your history? Oh yeah. Also, broken promises. You've never seen a.
It just hit me like a bolt of lightning.
You've never seen a baby before.
Near act. You just blew my mind. You're right. Babies don't. I don't know what a baby is.
I'm so learned in my history.
Yeah, Max.
So
Berg.
Berg one.
Scholar.
So I think what it is, Berg, is you know that this woman is important, but you don't know who she is. Maybe the best you get is like a vague recollection of your own like mom, right? Maybe you don't remember. You tell me what's like. Berg has a memory of being a child and a memory of your mom. Okay, give it to me. Flash me back.
Okay. So for him, since he spent most of his time, being a slave, a lot of his memories of childhood are just kind of like little flashes and things. One of them is playing like an orcish game with his parents when they weren't, like they weren't split apart and they had time by themselves. And it's amongst other children to see who's the strongest one and fighting and trying to prove, their strength. There's more to it than that, but he can't remember the rules of the game. It's centered around combat, and he can remember his mom yelling out to him, like, "You'll never get him that way. You have to use your legs and your back, Berg." That kind of thing, but like barking it at him. As Berg's just like
orcish soccer mom. Yeah, good hustle, Berg. Good hustle. Yeah, I like it. That's great. Yeah, so you have this memory of your mom like encouraging you to be strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that's it. That's what you get. You don't know who this person is, but she kind of reminds you of your mom. Now, from an outsider's perspective, Ramus, you got a 28 on this roll. So this is, and I don't know, like, did you study like orcish, like tribal figures in the monastery? Is that why you know this?
Yeah, I think.
Or did you pick that information up elsewhere?
We studied in the library, like there was classes on other religions to learn how to convert them by using their religion against them, that kind of thing.
Oh, dirty. They totally would do that though. Like you'd go to missionary school and be like, if you come across a group of orcs, here's how to manipulate them into worshiping the god you worship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is some, so it's never really been clear to you or any human like historian, because they don't really understand like orcish culture at all, because they don't care to, because they're dicks. But it's never been clear whether the orcish gods are actually divine in any meaningful way, or if they're just heroes who were revered. There also seems to be some kind of, and we talked about this with Ilnaval, there seems to be some kind of like seeking out of the reincarnated, this idea that like Ilnaval is an orcish spirit that is born into different generations, and that jibes with heaven. And so you probably learned to get at them that way, to be like, yes, in our culture we also have reincarnation, and so this happens to everyone. So if you just do what heaven says, you could be like, you don't have to think that only these heroes get reincarnated, everyone does. And then mostly orcs will laugh at you and be like, no, you have to earn it, you have to be cool enough to come back. This woman is she's either, you got a 28, so maybe you think at first she's either the sister or maybe the like mother of, there's a familial connection to like central orcish like hero figure. And she represents the orcish, like she's the goddess. I mean, I'm using the words kind of sarcastically, but she's the sort of totem character in orcish mythology of protection of the home, protection of the young. She's not like a mother goddess exactly, but she's like a guardian figure. And it was her job to make sure that the orcs found food and water when they could not find it otherwise, and to protect the horde. And then at night, under the light of the moon, she was given special power. She was like some kind of shapeshifter, and she would go out and like seek out the enemies of the tribe and kill them. But this appears to be her in her daytime aspect as like den mother or den protector, and in this aspect, she is known as Luthic, but she has other names. That's just the name you know her by.
Yeah, so I'm just wrapping up really on this. They call her Luthric. So the protector, she protects the tribe.
Yeah, protects and feeds. Yeah, and so there's this big statue, and I think this is the first thing that doesn't look familiar to you, Berg. You've never seen the statue before.
I don't know this person.
How does that feel? How does it feel to have Ramus like know more about your culture than you do?
It doesn't feel super odd just because Berg was ripped away from a lot of that culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he still doesn't necessarily like it. It just depends on how. If Ramus were to, I would liken it somewhat in some ways to the way Worf is with being Klingon. Like he knows a lot, but also he's not fully Klingon. Worf knows a lot more than Berg obviously does about his own heritage and stuff like that. But there's still that frustration there. So if Berg were, or if Ramus were to talk shit about that, even though he doesn't know it, he would get upset.
There's tension. Yeah.
There's still a little bit of tension. However that comes across, vibe-wise to Ramus, but that's essentially what's going on with Berg. It's frustration that he doesn't know more about it, but also, if Ramus were to be like, yeah, she's a stupid tribe leader, whatever, Berg would get frustrated about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, definitely. Okay, cool. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so this must be a place to worship for her.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the statue is just right in front of you, and then you can walk around and continue down. And from here, you can see that the road is sort of coming to an end, and there is what looks like a cave entrance down at the bottom. It's quite large, right? It's like probably 15 feet tall and maybe twice that wide. And it's down at the bottom where this valley kind of converges.
Adam, well, go ahead.
So, just before we leave the statue thing, because that baby thing kind of did throw me for a loop. Like, is that something that would be strange to me?
I mean, it's art, so you would maybe. I'm not going to tell you what you think, but like, if I saw something portrayed like this, and it was like weird, I might think I'm just like, oh well, it's a statue and they're taking some liberties. And it's not like she's fucking like holding the baby up like Simba or anything.
Right.
But yeah, there's no babies in the Court of the Void. There are no infants. Okay. There's no like growth. Like you just are how you are unless you pay someone to flesh craft you. And certainly there are people who are flesh crafted to be very, very small. Right. But yeah, the idea of like, your ideas of what it means to have a mother or be matronly or anything like that are very skewed from what this statue is intending to portray.
I think I know how to phrase it then. So I will look to the group, and whoever wants to answer, they can. Well, not look to the group, but I'll look at the statue, and I'll just say out loud, What do you think's in the bundle she's holding?
Oh God, we have to have the talk.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm not having this
What's the-
talk, Ramus.
What's the talk?
You're the clergy, man. You tell her what's going on. You probably have the most practice.
Oh, is it a religious icon or something that she's holding?
Well,
What?
Berg, do you want to take this one up?
Because, like, if you were explaining it to, because Broken Promises knows what sex is. People in the Court of the Void have sex all the time. It's like, well, listen, honey, where we're from, sometimes if you have sex with a certain kind of person, then a horrible parasite starts growing inside of you. And in 9 months, it just comes squirting out of your stuff in a horrible torrent of blood. And then it grows up to be a person. But you have to take care of it for the first, like, 20 years. Have fun.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Sounds horrible. Yeah, no shit.
If it's kind of left off to Berg's like,
What do you mean? That's a baby. Child.
I'm sorry.
Small you.
Like like something that was created to look like you.
you see like Berg like trying to think.
Like fleshcraft.
Yeah.
Like flesh crafters do. A small version of yourself.
Right. So Broken Promises, you know what a homunculus is? That's when like a wizard takes a part of you, like a fingernail or like some phlegm or whatever, and mixes it with a bunch of other stuff and makes a tiny fucked up twisted version of you. But those don't grow up to be people.
Right.
We start small. Not always big Berg, strong. Tiny, weak. Cry. I don't cry anymore because I grow big. Big Berg,
Yes.
not small Berg.
Big Bergs don't
Well, you trained yourself to you don't start strong. You gain muscles like I gain knowledge.
We grow up. Get bigger. Think. And talk better. Start stupid. Dumb.
Well, yes. You learn things as you live. You said small though. You were once
Right.
small. You were once small like that.
Well, I was bigger than other tiny me's.
Berg's like
I look-
thinking
I
to
look
himself.
at- I
He's like
look
a
at
weird
Raymond.
face, like, did I say that right?
How do I explain
swivel
this?
slowly to Ramus, and I'm like,
It's
just,
hard.
like,
It's
look-
hard for Berg to explain
Yeah.
this. It's like a really
Well,
difficult
so
concept.
conceptually,
No, you picked the worst person to explain it.
I know,
so
yeah, of course.
conceptually, the idea, like, I think you're smart enough, Broken Promises, to be able to put a couple of things together in the sense that what we were talking about before about how, like, the juice comes from the world, and the world is a place where you can't rely on anything. It's a swirling mess of total chaos. Nothing stays the way it's supposed to stay ever. And that's why magic items come from there, because they're cursed by this, like, chaos energy. And if you go there, your body will forget how to be what it is, and you'll just, like, evaporate into the universe. And it makes sense that all of this stuff just happens. Like, that you can like make people with your body. Like, they're discussing, like, as much as the place the Mara come from is hell to people on Earth or in the world is hell to people in the Court of the Void, in the sense that it's described as being like a terrifying magical landscape. And so some of this makes a kind of, like, the fucked upness makes a kind of strange sense that, like, of course, creatures that are made out of juice don't have a solid set form, right? Like someone in chat was asking, like, if you lift weights in the void, what happens? And it's like, you get stronger, but then the sun comes around and you just revert back. You have a set form that you can rely on unless you fleshcraft
really?
or use the juice. Yeah. Like you are who you are, and like you can eat as much as you want. You'll go back to the way that you were. You can like try to get fucking ripped by lifting weights. You'll never be as strong or any stronger than you are unless, and this is why fleshcrafters exist, unless you go and you get injected with the juice and they make that change permanent. It allows you to become something that you weren't before, and this is why it's so like
there's the connection
hungry
that I
for
can
it.
make. Okay,
Yeah.
there's the connection that I can make.
Mm-hmm.
So what we know as the juice in our land is how bodies change or are able to be changed. But you are made of this. So you change, but don't go back when the cycle ends.
No,
I think I understand. So
we start small and dumb, then grow bigger, learn, brain get bigger. We grow into us now. Then we die. No more. Not like this.
So what you're saying is the statue is holding a small, dumb version of the person carrying it.
Yes.
And the
But it's a
juice
different
that is
person.
inside of them makes them bigger and smarter as they live.
Yes.
Do you know how you die, right? Like you've died before, broken promises, right?
Oh,
In
yes.
a realm.
Yes, a
And you
few
come
times,
back.
yeah. Yes.
But imagine if when you came in our world, you die, and then you come back, but you don't come back as who you were. You become back as this little tiny little miniature version of yourself. And then each cycle, that version gets a little bigger permanently every cycle. In every cycle, you get a little bit bigger, and you change. You don't stay the same. Imagine every cycle that you, like someone flesh crafted you every day to be just a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. But it happened naturally without flesh crafting.
So as you're speaking, Ramus, Amira is just like staring at you. And in her mind, she's envisioning a world where some people are like 100 feet tall and other people are like 2 feet tall. And she's just like, what kind of horrifying world is this where you just keep growing and growing and growing? And then you start again and you're tiny. And she's just like you can see through the lenses on her mask, like her eyes are just wide. And she's just like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
Yep, that's how.
I should like to see you grow. If we get back to your land, will I be able to see you get
Well-
bigger and smarter, Berg?
I don't know about. Maybe bigger. I don't know about smarter. Berg not smart.
Oh, Berg. I understand what you're saying, yes. Well, I'm sure I'll have plenty of more questions once we get to wherever we're going.
I think this very conversation and kind of like that feeling of like how your life as a person who lives in the court of the void, like because of the way stasis is there, this is a part of why the debauchery of the circus is so popular and so prevalent, because self-improvement is to a degree impossible in the Court of the Void, right? Like you're never going to be better or worse than you are. You get a limb chopped off, it'll grow back. You die, you'll come back. Like why bother trying to why bother trying to be any better than you are? So there is some reflection. This does make sense to you too. This idea of like being able to change. It also makes it kind of miserable to realize you're in a bad place because there's that feeling of like, well, I'll never get out of here. Nothing will ever be better because nothing changes. So yeah, I mean, you're having this conversation kind of in the statue of in the shadow of this statue, and yeah, it's still strange and foreign to you. And Amira, from what she could understand, is scared. But yeah, behind is the storm, and it's clear that there's no one around here. Do you press on?
Well, I was gonna say before Zeke spoke. While this is kind of happening, I tuned it out as soon as I realized what the conversation was. And did I ever make a history roll, or would I ever understand who the founders of the City of Brass were? Because I saw them. I don't know if I could ever.
Nah, that's some human bullshit.
Yeah.
You're much more likely to recognize this statue, for example, because there's lots of like free orcs that live in the like in the mountains where your people do, and they come in conflict, and some of them are your allies, and like you've had more interaction probably with orcs than with the kinds of mythology that exists in the City of Brass.
Okay. Well, then, with that knowledge, once they finish speaking, I look at Ramus and say, Ramus, if this is all brought on by Berg and yours memories, what does she have to do with the City of Brass and the founders that we saw the memory of? How does that all connect, or does it even connect?
I don't know, but this is obviously something to do with Berg. Although he's like a shut door to me when it comes to knowledge.
I couldn't resist.
Couldn't resist. So there would be no connection between the founders of that city and this woman, this orc?
Well, I don't know about between the two of them, but these are all people that have come into contact with. Like, we met one of the founders of the City of Brass. That scene we saw before was
You did?
something described to us. Yeah.
Were they in the scene? You did not bring this up.
Well, he was sleeping. There were 5 founders of the city, not 4. And the 4 sacrificed the 5th to make the city. That's the scene we saw up there. Something that probably only the 4 of them and the 2 of us know.
Well, share things like that as we move forward. We'll try to piece this together.
Sorry, I felt like you've been with me the whole time, but I keep forgetting you haven't.
It's fine. It's fine. Shall we continue on? Broken promises. Do you understand? Whatever it is you were asking.
I don't yet fully, but I will, I'm sure, or I will ask more questions later. However, before we continue, Marib, if you would. I gave my name up to the wind. So, if you would refer to me as unnamed or nameless.
Right, yes.
Thank you.
It's not something I can just turn off. I know
I
it
understand.
is one thing. But
I'm not
yes.
offended. I'm just.
Correct me when
For it
I
to
do
mean
it wrong.
something, I will. For it to mean something, I have to make sure that I'm vigilant.
I understand. Correct me when
Yeah,
I'm
right.
wrong.
Like the idea of who a name is for, right? Like it's not really for you. Like you don't pick your name usually. Some people get to. You didn't pick your name, and you don't go around talking about yourself in the third person. Most people don't. So a name is really like a thing you wear for other people. So it's like you can refer to yourself all you want. You can say you gave up your name, but until everybody forgets it and stops using it, it does sort of not count, right? I think that's really interesting. Yeah. Cool.
I like it.
All right.
Yep.
So
I start walking down the road some more. See what else there is.
Okay. All right. So I think as you continue down the road, Zeke.
I mean, I don't want to like draw the dialogue in like a lot further, but I would love to like as we're walking along, ask Amira. I saw your expression, and this I'm speaking in Infernal so she can understand me fully, but I'll stop myself. Would you prefer I spoke to you in Common so you get a better understanding, or would you prefer Infernal like I am now?
She says in Infernal, the other way you speak, I still don't understand it. I'm trying. She kind of frustratedly puts her hands up. If you need me to understand fast, say it in a language I speak. Otherwise, I'll try to learn.
Okay. And I continue in Common slowly. I saw your face when Berg was explaining the statue. Amazing, isn't it?
She says in Infernal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried we might have made a mistake.
And she unnamed kind of like chuckles at that. Perhaps so, but at least it'll be exciting.
Yeah, and she just kind of shakes her head like, oh boy.
And yeah, then we just keep on walking.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you you press on. And at the end of the way, you do see this cave entrance. And from it, I think you sense like a warmth. There's like a heat coming from it, as if standing near a hearth fire. It's not strong enough to like make you start sweating or anything, but you can feel this kind of like almost inviting warmth coming from the cave. The entrance goes in and then goes down quite quickly, so all you can see is kind of light coming up. You can't see very deep into it, but there's a staircase that descends down, and from it there is this warmth.
Great. I keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you start descending the stairs. All right. So you get further and further down the stairs. You start heading down this quite wide staircase that narrows gradually, and after I don't know, like 10 minutes maybe of walking down these stairs, you come to, and it's lit. There are torches burning on the walls. Again, burning with that strange orange-red fire. And they're burning on the walls, and there is this warmth coming from below. And as you get further and further down the steps, there is an almost library quality to the space. You start to feel like your footsteps are louder than they normally are, like the clattering of your armor, the rattling of chain. It's like it sounds louder than it really is. And whether that's the echo or some other effect happening, you're feeling sensitive about that sound. And it feels like walking into some place sacred, maybe.
Okay. If we look back, does it look like we traveled more than we actually have, or less than we actually have, or does it just feel normal?
It doesn't seem like there's any kind of like weird warping of like the stairs aren't. You don't look back and we get that like Hitchcock zoom of the stairs being way longer than you thought they were.
Sure.
No, it's just like a sense of like calm or quiet or gravitas that kind of comes over you as you descend.
Can I make a perception check to see if I hear anything, smell anything like out of ordinary or whatever? Yeah. Maybe not smell anything, but hear anything.
Sure. Yeah, because your sense of smell is all fucked up because your helmet.
16.
You get a +5, I think. So 22. Or 21,
Yep.
sorry.
That's right. No, you have advantage when you roll.
Oh, it's
passive
advantage.
perception. Is
Oh,
+5.
pass. Okay.
So you have a 16. No, I mean you just hear everybody else being really loud. Like you hear every footstep of everyone else, and you're all feeling this. This is like you all are suddenly aware of how noisy everyone is. You can hear everyone's breathing and like, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Is it just because the place is increasingly quieter and quieter, where every noise that we make just becomes more
Apparent.
noticeable in that sense? Is that what you're
That
trying
might
to say?
be. Yeah, that might be it. That might be part of it. Part of it might too be that outside there was the sort of distant howling of the sandstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like all we can hear because it's so still and quiet in here because of just the vibe and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that you reach the end of the stairs, and there's a door, and it's a stone door. It's about 6 feet wide, maybe about 10 feet tall. It's a big door made out of stone, sandstone. So everything down here is this kind of yellowish stone color, yellow brown. The door doesn't appear to have a handle, but it is covered in handprints. And they're not like bloody handprints or anything, just darkened. The stone is darkened by hundreds, maybe thousands of like handprints individually placed all over the surface of the door. Yeah. And I think on the other side of the door, you smell, except for Broken Promises, who just smells grease and leather. I think everybody who has their olfactory nerves open to the air, you smell meat, like meat cooking, like a roast or something on the other side.
How big are the handprints?
They vary. Some
Orcish
are quite
in
large,
nature.
but they're yeah. They're all. I mean, they're all the average bigger than human handprints. And maybe here and there you see a little like claw scratch on the door. But yeah, they appear to be orcish handprints, all overlapped and like just covering the surface of this door.
Does the door resemble any other door that we've seen here? Or is it just a door?
No, it's just like a big sandstone block holding holding
it-
the whole like
Is it open
separating
inward
this whole
or
from the neck.
outward? What are the hinges?
Only one way to find out.
I was gonna say I don't know if we necessarily know. Would
Yeah,
you
you
know
can't-
for
you can't
sure
really tell
if
at
you
a
look,
glance.
if you didn't see a push or a pull, would you know for sure coming up to a convenience store?
I mean,
what which way-
unless I saw the hinges, no, I would not
yeah,
know.
right.
It's the door of Gary Larson, and no matter how hard you push, it's always a pull, and you go to pull it, and it's a push door.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just has like stopped you in your path, and you smell the smell of like meat cooking.
Okay.
You all smell that, right? Not just me.
Yes. There's
Mm-hmm.
some sort of roasted meat. Yes.
Oh, good.
I think she's cooking for us.
She?
Oh,
I think the woman in the statue.
well, I hope she is. I'm goddamn hungry.
Put your hand on the
Yeah,
door
it's
and
true. Like
feel that.
you notice your mouth is like definitely is watering.
I put my hand on the door and see what I feel. Yeah.
You see, when he does that, Berg, like, was gonna say, like, hold on a second, just flashing back to, how he got his stone arm. He's just kind of a little gun shy of any just random weird doors and caves.
Yeah.
But he does it too quickly, so maybe it's like a. Oh.
Yeah, I put my hand on the door and look back. Berg, is there a problem?
Are you okay?
I seem to be okay. Is
Weird doors.
another
Not
story
weird.
between you and Ramus, I assume?
I touched the door once. It's fine.
Great.
Glad you
Told him
glad
not to.
Oh, shut up, Remus.
Yeah, I push the door in at the end of that. Or push against the door. I don't know if I push it in.
Yeah, you put your hands on the door and you push it, and it's, I don't know, it's like maybe like really heavy, because I mean, heavy enough that you don't feel any give. Like you push on it and it doesn't go.
Yeah, I do one of the like pushes against it. I hesitate and look back at the rest of the group and put a second hand on it and start to give my
Can
weight
really give it.
against
Yeah, we can see Maharib's like neck and back muscles tense as you like push on the door.
Business.
Your arms get all fucking ropey.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you push as hard as you can, and then you pull your hands away, and we see your handprints on the door, as if your hands were all like oily or greasy. We see your handprints on the door, but unlike all the other handprints, yours seem to sink in like water being absorbed into sand. So
Well,
your
shit's getting
handprints. Your handprints sink into the door and disappear.
That's not good. I look at my hands after that to make sure there's not like residue or anything on it.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Perhaps we should knock.
I think this
Maybe.
door is for Berg. Seems to be his illusion.
Very well. I like wipe my hands off and step back. Berg?
You see these hands?
God damn it.
He doesn't say that. He doesn't say it.
They look like
Berg
big,
reluctant.
strong hands, don't they?
Yeah. Berg. I couldn't help myself. This is too perfect.
That's perfect.
Berg walks up to it, looks at his hands, looks at the door, looks at the rest of them. He's like, yeah, all right. He places them and pushes.
Yeah. Even just the slightest push, the door starts to open. Starts to swing open. Yeah, and when you place your hands and you push it, it just swings open on its own. And when you take your hands away, we see two dark handprints where you place your hand, and they fade to the same kind of color as the rest, and then add to the mosaic, to the point where if you look away and look back, there's no way to tell which handprints are yours.
Right, right.
And when you push the door, it swings open, revealing a carved stone corridor ahead, warm orange light, and a strong smell of spiced meat. And you can hear, if you focus for a second, you can hear a faint crackling of fire.
I can smell it even more.
Maybe it's like, I mean, you can tell me, Adam, too, but like maybe it's especially alluring to Berg, just that the smell of this particular spiced meat.
It's definitely like an orcish food. It's an orcish dish for sure.
It's probably something he hasn't smelled in a long
Yeah,
time.
some kind of like hunted game animal, prepared in a particular way that is very familiar to you. Yep. Yeah, and unlike looking at an old statue, your sense of smell triggers memory much easier. And so yeah, you've definitely smelled this before. This is a dish you've eaten, and it's been like fucking 40 years probably.
Yeah, That's why it's like a moment for Berg. I figured it would. It's probably how long has it been since he's smelled anything prepared like this?
Yeah.
So you just kind of see that wash over Berg as he's like inhaling heavily, and just you can see the longing to just like run forward. He's stopping himself just to like run down the corridor because his experience tells him better.
I hope it's real and not fucked.
Fair. Absolutely fair. Fair and reasonable. All right. So do you lead the way, Berg?
Yeah, I think Berg will probably go forward, seemingly as it's he's the one that opened it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you head in. So inside, maybe 30 or 40 feet, the tunnel, hallway, I guess calling it a tunnel isn't really fair. It widens out a little bit and becomes a quite a large chamber. And in this chamber, there is it goes back to being like a naturally carved, like this was clearly a like a cave at one point. And it's maybe like a little over 100 feet across, side to side. The whole thing is lit by about 100 by 100, maybe sort of like a circle. And it's lit by torches that are in the walls, hanging in sconces. The floor is mostly sand, though in the center there is a constructed platform. There's a circle of stone, different kind of stone, some kind of granite, and it's a disc that's been placed in the center of this sandy floor. There are little alcoves all throughout the walls of this generally sort of circular chamber, but what grabs all of your attention is what's sitting in the center of this disc on this dais. And what we see is first a pile of what I can only describe as like grave goods. So treasure, right? Gold, gems, like coins of various sorts, rings, jewelry, right? This pile of treasure. And then also like jugs of like mead or ale. You see like a jar of honey, like loaves of bread. Probably there's like there's like other like food items as well. So like cured meat, a wheel of cheese. You see all of this stuff sitting around, and then in the center there is a brazier, a big fire pit, basically. And in it there is an entire like a boar maybe or something on a spit, and the fire is sort of like licking at its flesh. And it is well on its way to being cooked in a traditional orcish fashion. On the other side of this big pile, there is a body. It is wrapped in cloth, so you can't see any of its features, and it is wearing a mask, but you can't see the details of the mask because you're on the other side of the big pile of grave goods. And this body is just lying on the dais on the other side.
What are its dimensions, size-wise, in relation to maybe say Berg? I don't know. Just spitballing here.
Yeah, I would say it's like around like 7 feet tall, give or take, broad of shoulder.
Sure it is. All right. Okay.
Was that something Berg only notices, or can we? Is it an
You all
easy
see this.
size
Everybody sees everything in the room. Yep.
Oh no, I mean the comparison to the size and stature of this body to Berg.
You can all draw whatever conclusions you want, but I think like Berg notices maybe first or most aggressively because
of who he is.
Berg is
himself.
Checking to see how tall this thing is. Like,
sure.
I don't know if I had to put a height on it, maybe a 7'1", somewhere around there.
Yeah, I definitely didn't hesitate to look at your character sheet. I didn't do that. That didn't
happen.
Right. But as everyone enters the room, I need you all to make intelligence saving throws.
Great.
Intelligence saving throws.
We're all good at this. We're just king of the intelligence.
And you're doing them at disadvantage.
Oh fuck! Why is that part of?
I know because it's a whole thing.
Oh, God
Oh,
It's
not advantage. 6.
No, disadvantage, I'm afraid. Okay. 6, 7.
Why disadvantage?
You don't get to know that.
I think I know
can't tell you
why,
that
but
right
I'm
now.
not gonna. I'm not gonna
Okay.
disclose.
Yeah.
I
saw
no,
JP
I was
check.
just
Ooh, a big old 3.
3.
Granted,
can
it wouldn't
you do
have
worse
helped me.
than 3, Max? Can you get a 2 or a 1 or a negative number? Can you?
Oh, I
Can you do that?
can.
You
You
got
ready for
disadvantage.
this?
I believe in you.
Woo!
Whoa.
Ooh, look at you.
I'm the
13 with
smartest motherfucker in this
disadvantage.
group. What I've been saying. Everybody say you stupid, Bert. We ain't stupid.
So, Berg.
That's how Bert talks now, by the way.
Yeah, Berg
Hey,
just.
what's up?
What are
It's
you
fucking-
stupid?
it's
He talks like
fucking
Rosie
Bert.
Rosie
What are you guys
Perez.
up to?
Yeah, there you go. That's who I was trying to think where that voice was, but no, that's Rosie.
What are you
Perez.
Yo, what
stupid
the
or
fuck is
something?
that body over there? What is this stupid ass dead meat? What is that?
So, with a 13, okay, here you go. So you walk into the room, you step onto the sand, and you step on something, and you like look at down your shoe, and there's something like kind of viscous and like sticky stuck to the bottom of your shoe.
Is everyone?
No, just Berg notices it as you come into the cavern.
Oh, okay, great.
There's something sticky and viscous.
Yeah, kind of like greasy or something. Yeah, just a little blop of it, like a silver dollar size, like, and it's kind of like pinkish white.
What is that?
Berg like lifts his shoe and stuff, and probably like motions to the others. Like,
It's
Yeah, nobody else sees anything.
a feast, Berg, and there's a body over there. What do you mean?
Berg, can you make a medicine check?
ah, shit.
It's a long shot, but I'm curious.
Medicine check it is. God,
Yeah,
don't
I
even
know
remember
this
the
isn't
last
really
time
your
I've
forte,
done a
but-
medicine check.
I know,
There
right?
you go.
Okay,
Nope.
yeah, no, you have no idea what the fuck this goop is.
Is it growing or is it just?
No, like you
There.
it's just like you can wipe it off in the sand, and it like comes off of your boot. But,
Yeah, wipe it off. If nobody
Yeah,
acknowledges it
really.
when
Just like
Berg
scrape
like
it off
he's
on the
just,
goo. Yeah, you just stepped in some weird goo.
I'm sure that's all it is too, just some weird goo. It's totally
Yeah,
fine.
you don't ever worry about it again.
Yeah, and I'm really
Um,
not. I'm not worried about it. It came
Okay.
off.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go around the dais and check out the body?
I think I've already started walking towards that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's clear to everybody except Broken Promises and Amira because your rituals are so different. But this is a funeral. This is like it's a funereal pyre for a member of like. I mean, orcs have a lot of different tribal customs. They're all over the world, but this is a Court of Wands like orcish funereal pyre. Yeah, you don't know necessarily the details of how it would have been arranged, but this is clearly like a dead person and all of the goods they want to send with them to the afterlife, or these goods honor the dead or something. But it's clear that that's what's going on here.
Is
How
there
tall-
anything that our passive perception would catch since it's heightened right now by 5? Like
Nothing.
mine would
Nothing
be
I have not.
18.
No,
Yeah.
nothing I haven't told you already.
How tall is his room? And if it's fairly tall, fuck it. I just look up. Berg looks up. He wants to look up. It's an old me.
Yeah, it's
an old thing,
it's pretty
but-
tall. It's like 50 feet tall.
Okay,
so
well,
you
yeah,
look up,
definitely then.
and yeah. You look up and it's just like a uneven, rocky like cave ceiling with stalactites.
They hold tight to the ceiling.
Stalactites.
Yeah, a couple
and
of little
stalagmites.
little pointy bits hanging down, and yep.
I'm gonna teach
Nothing.
real quick.
Sure.
Stalagmites try with all their might to get to the top. That's how you remember.
Okay.
Oh, I was stalactites hold tight to the ceiling.
There's multiple ways. You could use both
Yeah.
of those and combine them, and it's an easy way. That's how
Yeah,
I do it.
I just went with don't go in caves. That's what I went with.
So, since I've never seen something like this before, and Maharib seems to be approaching it, I just I say to Maharib, Mari, do you think whoever it is might be sleeping?
We're gonna.
Maybe we don't scare them.
It's like being with a small child.
It's worse because she's
A small
smart.
what?
Oh,
We'll have a conversation. This is a ritual of sorts, but please.
While you're having that conversation, you hear behind you the clunk of the door shutting.
Yeah.
I turn around.
That's never good.
Back of the door is clean. There's no handprints on it.
Yeah, I once again have the axe in hand. We should prepare for something. I start to look around. No one touch that body. Do not eat the food.
You're right, probably.
Yeah. You want to get a closer look at any of that stuff?
I would like to look at like the. You said the body was on top of the the items, the jewels, and that kind of stuff.
No, it's just on the other side of like if you walk in, you're looking at the pile and you can see the body on the other side, but not clearly. You have to go around the dais to look at it.
Okay. Is there anything else of interest? There's the meat, the pile of stuff, and the body. Is there anything else of interest? Like that?
I mean,
like
there's lots
a
of
shelf,
little,
a desk?
like alcoves and stuff around the outside wall. It's not an even surface.
Okay. Any statues or religious icons or anything?
No, not that you can see at a glance.
Okay. I'll walk over to the pile of stuff behind Monterey because he has to walk around it. So I'll stop there and look at the stuff.
Okay. Yeah, grave goods. Like I said, lots of like valuable items either crafted by artisans or like jewels, gold, that kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, it's
Bird
all
might-
sitting on the open. Yeah. Sorry, Max.
No, I was gonna say Bird might get a little closer just to like kind of to the body, not super close because he's wary of it, but he wants
Sure,
to
of
like
course.
you
Makes
know
sense.
that especially if it's like somewhat his dimensions in general. Like you know he's curious. In general, it's a body and it's orcish in nature.
So you come around the other side to see the body, and you look down at it, and yeah, it's like mummified in the sense that its arms are folded over its chest, and then the whole body has been wrapped in linen. But the linen looks like it's been treated with something. It has a kind of sheen to it, and it's like got a little bit of like a kind of oiliness. You can't really see underneath what is it, but so it's the body's wrapped, and then on top of all this wrapping, there is a stone mask, and the mask is it confirms exactly what you thought. So you come around the corner, and it's your face. It's you. It's your own face, and it is twisted in a rictus of rage. You know, your tusks are bared. It's like there's this horrible snarl, and it's like looking into the face of a demon. And I think even for you, because when you're raging, you don't see yourself. You don't look in a mirror when you're raging. So you've never seen like the terrifying visage you have when you're consumed with berserker rage. So when you look at it, I think it maybe like startles you a little, because you're seeing yourself in a way you never have before.
Yeah.
But yeah, the death mask, the stone death mask of this thing is your face. Whatever is under the, yeah.
Do I have both tusks?
Fuck, this is one of those like tiny details that if I get it wrong, I'm gonna have people be like, Adam, if you remember in episode 56.
If it's
actually,
I'm asking because if it's pre-Heavenberg, he has one tusk broken off.
Yes, yeah, it would be. Yeah, and that's what I thought. But yeah, it is. It's one broken tusk, and then.
Okay.
How close are you?
And so
getting to
while
this
you're
body?
looking at it, you're staring down at the body. You hear a voice, and when you turn to look, you see from one of the alcoves at the back, you see a woman. Now she's speaking in Orcish, so only people who can speak Orc understand what she's saying, which might be just Berg.
I think it's
Ramus,
just
you're
Berg, maybe
pretty smart.
Ramus.
Do you
I
speak
can
Orcish?
understand Orcish. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Berg and Ramus.
All right, so the two of you understand it. So you turn, you look, and there's this woman, and she is she's an orc. If you were the kind of person to place stock in these things, she is. I'm sure there's a bunch of words both in Orcish and in human and in common to like help understand these things, but the common words for them are all super derogatory, and the Orcish words are more like familial. But she's like got a lot of orc blood. Probably her parents were both they're both children of two orcs, and those people are children of two orcs. Like she has very pronounced tusks. Her skin is like a dark olive, like olive green, like almost like camo fatigue like color. She has a like fairly prominent brow, big strong arms, and she's wearing a I think probably like a kilt or kind of skirt thing, and then she has, though it's empty, she has one of those like baby holding things across her chest, which is bare. She has one hand is holding a bowl with a mortar in it. She's holding technically, I guess it's not a bowl, it's a pestle with a mortar sticking out of it. And her other hand, her left hand, she's not holding anything, but you notice that all of the claws on that hand are unclipped. They're quite long and sharp looking. And she walks in and she's holding this thing, and she looks up, and as if it's the most casual thing in the world, she sees Berg, and she sees you looking at the body when you turn, and she says, "Strange, the things that find their way down here. It belonged to you once, I think."
We all hear this?
She's speaking Orcish, so you hear her making like Klingon sounds.
Right, but I understand it to probably be Orcish and just say like, Berg,
Yeah.
please. What is she saying?
She said
I-
strange. Dude,
Does Ramus say anything?
Yeah. So like, I'll translate for you. I'm like, I whisper in your ear what she said.
Okay, so
Yeah, no, Berg, you don't get to speak Orcish a lot, but I have a feeling that part of and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my impression is that part of why Berg sounds like dumb is because you're speaking common. But I feel like when you speak Orcish, it's less of a problem. I think we had this conversation briefly like a long time ago. Am I
that's
remembering that
fair.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, some stuff the way Berg speaks is just because a lot of it is he just doesn't know the right word in common, especially.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yes. Yeah.
Not to say that he sounds eloquent speaking in Orcish, but he definitely is a lot more comfortable in Orcish. Although his common has gotten better over the years, that's still that mechanically just makes more sense to him speaking.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Cool.
Yeah, in Orcish back, Berg just says,
who are you and why is that there?
She says, I guard this place. They came with the body, found it here, and prepared it. Poured into it all their intentions for the other side, and left me to watch over it. She smiles. I didn't expect to have visitors.
And where is this place? Why are you here other than where you come from?
You ask questions to which there are no answers. I try not to worry about it. Try not to think too much. I just watch over my charge and prepare the feast. And she walks up like quite close to you if you let her, and moves past you and steps up onto the dais and pours what she has, which seems to be some kind of like paste, from the bowl, pours it onto the pig and gives it a little rotation. And she looks at the others and she says, "What are you doing here?" And when she says that, she turns slightly, and you don't know if it's intentional or not, but like that hyper aware, semi paranoid part of your brain that this place is like making everything all high res and sharp and weird. Maybe she does it on purpose, maybe she doesn't, but she has like a long curved knife on her belt, and she either just like turned to like make sure you saw it, or you're just being paranoid.
She says that in common?
No,
Oh.
She says it to Bergen Orcish. I don't know if she even speaks common. We haven't heard her say anything.
Okay. All right. Oh, so that was directed at Berg. Sorry. Go ahead, Max.
Yeah.
We ended up here, wherever this is, trying to get back where we come from.
And she nods and she says, "That sounds like a lot of work. Why not stay? It'd help me. Keep watch. Big strong boy like you. Could use your help. What if someone comes to interrupt? Old woman like me. I can't defend this place."
How does she say that?
You want to make an insight check?
Yeah.
Berg the Insightful is what they call him.
Well, I mean, if she's speaking Orcish, I feel like he might be able to, have a little bit more insight as to
You're going to do great.
the way she's saying. I'm gonna fucking kill you. You ready?
Yeah. I know you're going to see. You're going to crit.
Woo! I got 18.
Duh.
All right.
I never had
Let me see how she does.
any doubt whatsoever.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nice. Yeah, best I could do is a 7, even with advantage. Yeah. So what are you like? What prompted this? Are you like, I don't trust this lady, or like, what do you want to know?
I don't trust this lady, and from the tone and the way you said it, it just sounded like, little old me. Oh, blah, why don't you stay? Like it just the word choice.
Yeah.
Seems off. Berg's
Okay.
talked to enough freaky old ladies in his time. You know what I mean?
So you have only the briefest flash of like a very strange. You have a very quick, very strange vision where instead of standing in front of you, this like healthy, like older, like orc, like matron, this orc grandma, you see like a wizened, green-skinned creature, right? Like a skeleton with a thin skin dragged over it. Her belly is like swollen from like malnourishment, and her hair, blood red, just like hangs down over her face. You see that just for a second, and behind all of that, the walls take on that same like glistening, kind of like wet, gelatinous kind of effect. And what snaps you out of this vision is the sound of a glob of fat dripping off of the boar's body and into the coals in the brazier. So just like bloop, and then like hisses, and that snaps you out of this like sudden vision. And she looks at you and she's like, "Something wrong?"
You tell me.
And are you like how aggressive? Are you like stepping back and taking out your weapon, or?
I think his hammer. Yeah, he grabs like puts his hand on his hammer and like shoots a glance at the others.
Okay. So aside from Ramus, I guess Ramus, you're the one who understands this conversation. So what do you say?
I tell the others, Berg looks upset. Something is scaring him about her. Get ready. I think this might be a.
So when you start saying that, she turns to you and she snarls, and in common, so everyone can hear, she says, Ramus Krill, always trying to manipulate my boy Berg. Well, he's mine. You can't have him anymore. And she turns and she shrieks and lunges for you with both hands, dropping the mortar. She lunges for Berg. Berg, can you make a dexterity saving throw? You have advantage.
Danger sense.
Yeah, you have danger sense, so you have advantage on this.
Okay.
Make the dex save.
I need to record.
Like she just turns, she's like, and like lunges at you with both hands.
I got to record one of those like fast telemarketing things that you hear on the. I fucked up that word. They hear on the radio, where they just like give you the small text so that we could talk about whenever danger sense happens that you can buy a hat. So I'll work on that. It'll be faster than my explanation of what I just did.
Yep. So, that's available now.
Yeah.
So she lets out a shriek and lunges for you. And as she does, two things happen. One, the illusion of this place, she lets it fade. And two, everybody rolls initiative.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure do.
So let me hold on. Let me drag you over to. I have a map. I will get you to click your token. She's right here. But I want to reveal kind of everything all at once. So
this illusion drops for everyone?
Yes, yeah. She's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just kill all of you or do whatever horrible thing she needs to do.
Well, I rolled a 9, Adam. So how about that?
Good. That's a good number. That is a number you could have rolled.
Oh, I didn't click my token. Is it a good roll? Nope, doesn't count because I didn't click my token.
Yeah, go ahead and actually roll. Roll for real now.
Yeah, here we go.
He has
sorry, I'm
advantage
on one
anyways, so
screen.
right?
Bang.
He does not. He does not, but it doesn't make a difference. He rolled a 12 on his first.
better.
It's his first roll. Yeah, so you're good. Okay. All right. So let me reveal the scene. And so what we see, and it's gonna be hard for me to describe this. I'm gonna just tell you what I'm envisioning rather than try to describe it and then let you guess what it is. So that little glob of greasy flab that you stepped on, it's fat. It's liquefied fat. And we see that drop of fat like drip into the pan, and she lunges for you, and as she does, her illusion fades away and everything around fades away as well, and you see the walls are slathered in fat, like just huge gobs of it smeared on every surface up to about 10 feet. Like a good 2 or 3 inches of partly solidified, dripping human fat. The sand under you is a pit of like thin sand, and there are bones in it. You can see like an orcish skull and some like bones, and they're just scattered throughout the pile. And as the illusion peels away, you see that what you thought before were like just kind of undulations in the sand or mounds, you see are actually vaguely humanoid forms. And as these things peel themselves up off the floor, I'll place them around here. Astute viewers saw this in the initiative order already. They are flab giants. There are many of them. And then there's your new hag friend. So we got a bunch of these boys.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yep.
It's like looking in a mirror, Adam.
And then and this beautiful lady.
Oh, hey.
Oh my God.
She looks great.
So
She's a beauty, one in a million girls.
So she lunges at Berg, with her bare hands, screeching, trying to like grab you, and her hair is like flailing around almost like on its own. And you got that save, right, Berg?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna take. She lunges for you, and she digs her nails into like your jaw, and like the space in front of your face. And you can feel her claws pierce the skin, and she grabs the side of your face and literally is trying to tear your face off. She doesn't succeed. You shove her back. You're gonna take half damage, and you're not stunned. But she leaves these like ragged claw marks down your face. So let me roll. And I think maybe you notice now, like we get that context as you shove her back, she's hissing and her hands are dripping with blood. Hanging from her belt, there's like a half dozen like limp kind of pieces of hide. Like they at a glance they could look like untreated leather or something, but they're faces. They're like human and orc faces just hanging from her belt. They got like 3 big holes, one for the mouth and she's just a face ripping old lady. And she's trying to take your face. So you take half damage as you pull her away from you. So let's see, 8, 6 plus 10. So half of this in slashing damage. Okay, you take 20 slashing damage, Berg. She attempts to rip your face off, and you like shove her back. And she hisses and screams in Orcish, "You're mine! You're mine!" And yeah, lunges at you. So she's gonna make 2 claw attacks. Here's your first one, Berg. She gets 26.
Holy shit.
Deals you another 22. Second claw, she gets a crit and deals you 36. Are you still up, Berg? You're taking a shit ton of damage.
He's at like half HP.
What was the additional after the initial 20?
So it was 20,
And then 36.
then another 22, then another 36.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's just screaming and like trying to tear your face off. So she gets her 2 claw attacks, and then she has one last attack. Her blood drinking hair shoots off of like it stays on her scalp, but it lunges out at you like wet blood soaked ropes and like tries to grab you. So let's see if she gets a hold of you with her whippy blood drinking hair. She does. So you are grappled by her hair. You're gonna take another 20 piercing damage, and you are grabbed by the hag. So she's got you. She got you by the hair. So yeah, her hair wraps around you like tendrils around your arms and around your neck, and yanks you towards her. And yeah, and so
I did
she's
that
like,
right, and I think I have 4 HP left.
Good. You can go into a rage now.
You said it was 20,
so
then it was 36, then 22, and then another 20. You said.
Yeah.
There's 98 total damage, so yeah, you'd have 4 HP.
98 total damage. Yeah, exactly. 4 HP. I did it right.
Yeah.
Okay, and you are grappled by this lovely lady. Okay, all right, Ramus.
Let's take a break before we move forward.
I was gonna say it'll be your turn,
Oh,
but yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm
now that
feeling
we've seen the terrifying threat that is this weird blood hag, let's take a break. And Ramus, you can leap into action at the beginning of the next turn.
Also, ow.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Mom, why?
Oh man. Well, let's close the door on this chapter of Court of Swords, and we'll be back with more right after this. We'll see you guys in about 5 minutes.